You know, the tech world right now is in a flat-out sprint. And if you really look at what's been happening lately, you see this incredible tension. On one side, you've got this wild ambition, but on the other, there's a genuine fear of what's coming next. So today, we're going to break that down, the huge race for innovation versus the very real human cost.
The entire industry is just in complete overdrive. I mean, this pace is absolutely breakneck, and it's creating these massive opportunities for sure, but it's also fueling these deep, almost existential fears, and not just from critics, but from the people at the very top. It really is a gold rush, and everybody is scrambling not to get left behind.
So let's dive into that gold rush first. We're talking about the massive corporate push to basically own the AI landscape, and the incredible, almost crushing pressure that comes with trying to stay one step ahead.
I mean, listen to this. This isn't some startup founder worried about next month's rent. This is the CEO of Microsoft, one of the biggest, most powerful companies on Earth, and he's admitting he's haunted by the idea of being left behind. That one word, haunted, it just perfectly captures the anxiety the whole industry is feeling.
So, what happens when you're haunted by that kind of fear? You move faster, way faster, and that translates into this frantic action we're seeing everywhere. Google is literally baking generative AI right into the Chrome browser. Meta is opening up its smart glasses, hoping to create a whole new app ecosystem from scratch. And at the same time, both Google and Microsoft are pushing like crazy to get developers and businesses using their tools like yesterday. The message is loud and clear: adapt or die.
But here's the thing. This high-stakes corporate race doesn't happen in a vacuum. It has immediate and often messy consequences in the real world. This is where the abstract world of algorithms just slams right into our everyday reality, for better and for worse.
And you can really see the two sides of that coin right here. On one hand, you've got someone like the legendary director James Cameron talking about AI as this amazing creative partner, a tool that's just as creative as a person, but just lacks a human's lived experience. Then on the other hand, you have criminal groups like Scattered Spider using these incredibly sophisticated tactics, likely boosted by the very same technologies, as a weapon.
19. That's it. That's the age of the alleged key hacker arrested in London. Authorities believe this teenager is a central figure in a prolific international cybercrime group. Just 19. And we're not talking about stealing some data from a clothing store here. The hacks this group is accused of were aimed at critical infrastructure. We're talking London's public transit system and even the computer systems for the US courts. It just goes to show you that modern cybercrime is less about having massive resources and way more about individual skill and exploiting basic human psychology. And this collision point, it just keeps expanding. These same technological undercurrents are completely reshaping our most fundamental debates as a society. Everything from how governments use surveillance tech to these huge, fierce arguments over censorship and what free speech even means anymore.
Okay, so this brings us to the macro level. The AI gold rush isn't just changing software. It's setting off these massive billion-dollar power plays that are redrawing the map of global industry and, honestly, even geopolitics.
$5 billion. That is the jaw-dropping amount of money that the leader in AI chips, NVIDIA, just announced it's investing in, get this, its direct competitor, Intel.
Now, to really put this into perspective, you have to look at where these two companies stand. NVIDIA is the undisputed king of AI chips right now. Intel, while still a giant, has been seriously struggling to keep up. So for a market leader to pour billions into a struggling rival, that's practically unheard of. So what is really going on here?
Well, it's because this isn't just about money. It's a deeply strategic move. This huge investment, which, by the way, comes after the US government also took a stake in Intel, is about one thing: shoring up American chip manufacturing. It's a massive geopolitical play to secure the domestic supply chain for what is arguably the most important resource of the 21st century.
All right, so after all that, the corporate anxiety, this cybercrime, the multi-billion-dollar politics, how does this super high-level race actually end up in our hands, in the gadgets and the tools we use every single day?
Well, it all starts deep, deep in the code. For ages, developers have had to deal with this thing called a serverless cold start. The best way to think about it is that frustrating little lag you get when you open an app and it has to kind of wake up before it can do anything. Well, companies like Vercel are now engineering platforms to pretty much eliminate that delay, making the apps we use feel instant.
And it's not just the code that's changing, it's how we build it. GitHub just put out some tips for using its AI coding assistant, Copilot. And what's fascinating is that the advice isn't really about code at all. It's about communication. Be direct, give context, state your goal. They're basically telling developers to treat the AI like you would a new human teammate. That is a fundamental shift in skills.
And the result of all this is that AI just becomes this invisible layer in our lives. It's in your Google Home suggesting routines before you even think of them. It's the Xbox Copilot on your PC helping you with your game. It's the magic that lets the new Sonos headphones integrate perfectly with your home audio. And interestingly, while all this software gets more complex and hidden, you're also seeing this counter-movement, with companies like Framework making hardware that's more transparent and easy to repair.
Which kind of leaves us with this one huge, fascinating question for the future. As these AI assistants get more and more powerful, are we heading towards a world where the most valuable skill for a creator isn't writing thousands of lines of code, but just being really, really good at telling an AI exactly what you want it to build? Definitely something to think about.